Shalom, friends. Akiva here with Israel in 5, and today is a very intense, emotional day here in Israel. Yom HaZikaron, Israel's Memorial Day for fallen soldiers and terror victims, like we've been talking about over the past couple of days. We stood last night for the siren as well as this morning. We stood silent as a nation. We stood as a nation together, remembering those who have fallen in defense of the world's one Jewish state. We've remembered the terror victims who have died because there are still people out there who hate us simply because we are Jews, and specifically because we tried to come home, because we have come home to our ancestral homeland. It's a very, very difficult day, especially for families who have experienced loss over many, many years, but especially since October 7th, 2023. So many families have been added to the list of families who are mourning the loss of loved ones, both in military action as well as in terror attacks. It wasn't easy being at the ceremony last night in my town, hearing all the names of those who have fallen in battle and in service and to terror read out loud. Those who have fallen over the past many decades, and to hear the new names that we didn't hear last year, that we didn't hear 2 years ago before October 7th. And that's the same experience for Jews, for Israelis all over the country here. Hearing the names of the new ones who fell, the new ones who were killed, the new ones who were murdered simply because they are Israeli, simply because they are Jews. It's a powerful day. It's an emotional day. And tonight we're going to burst out into celebration, celebrating Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel's Independence Day. And I hope you join me for the special program I'll be doing tomorrow for Yom HaAtzmaut, the webinar that I'll be doing. I'm really looking forward to it. But this day, today, this is the day that we focus on the hard part of having our own country, the sacrifice that we've had to make, the sacrifice that families have made, right? Knowing that their loved ones are going to the front lines of this non-stop, this continuing war. It's not a series of separate wars, it's the same war, fought for the same reason, with the same purpose, to try to get us out of here, to try to destroy us. But of course, we stand our ground and we will not move. We will not move from this land ever again. But we know, unfortunately, that along the way, we have lost many precious lives. And today in Yom HaZikaron, we remember them. I want to end with a very, very touching and beautiful, powerful and personal story connected to this day. It was many years ago. Our oldest child, who is now 18 and a half and on his way to going to the army soon, he was just around 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old at the time, and it was a few weeks after Yom HaZikaron. In his kindergarten, they had learned about this day, and they learned about the fact that there would be a siren, and when they heard the siren, they would stand and they would remember the fallen soldiers. Well, it was already a few weeks after, as I said. Yom HaZikaron was a beautiful Friday afternoon. The windows were open, the breeze was coming through, and my wife and I happened to get ready for Shabbat early that week, which never ever happens. And we were playing with our son on the floor of our apartment in Jerusalem. And all of a sudden we heard a siren. Right away, my body tensed up, and I thought it was an air raid siren. It was a siren because maybe there's some kind of rocket or missile attack. That's what I thought for about 2 seconds. And then I remembered, oh, it's not that. It's the Shabbat siren of Jerusalem that we actually never hear because we're always busy getting ready for Shabbat. In Jerusalem, 40 minutes before sundown, a siren is sounded throughout the city to remind people that Shabbat is coming and it's time to light Shabbat candles. It's a very beautiful thing based off of an ancient tradition that took place in Jerusalem when they would blow trumpets from the temple area in Jerusalem to announce to the city that it's time for Shabbat. Well, that was what was going through my head. And while I was thinking these thoughts, I realized that my son was having a very different experience. And I looked over at him, and he went from sitting on the floor playing to standing up, putting his hands behind his back and bowing his head in silence, like this. And I realized that what he was doing, what his brain was thinking, what his brain was associating the siren with was the Yom HaZikaron siren, the Israel Memorial Day siren, when we all stand up and we're silent and we remember those who sacrificed their lives for us. That's what my 5 or 6 year old kid was doing. In that moment, I realized what kind of kid this country was raising. A kid who at such a young age was already learning the value of appreciation, the value of honoring those who have fallen so that we could live. In that moment, I realized how deep it is to live in this country and how deep it is to live in this state. And what a merit it is to be alive at this time for this chapter of Jewish history. And if this is the kind of kid if this is the kind of kid this country is raising, there's no other place I'd rather be. And there's no other place I could ever call home. With that in mind, my friends, honoring all of those who have fallen, all of the terror victims and all the soldiers who were killed in the 77 years of Israel's existence, sending love and support to all the families who have lost loved ones over all of these years. I'm thanking you for your continuous and strong support of Israel, your love and your prayers. Thank you so much from Israel on this very powerful day in Israel. All the best and shalom.